So Sania, we've been given the task to talk for 22 minutes. Given our relationship for the last 20 years, it shouldn't be hard, but I don't think we've ever done it on camera.
No, it's very difficult, and I think this it's extremely awkward right now to have this conversation, but we'll try and keep it,
So let me start off
PG.
with when we first met. I think you were 14.
Yes.
And was it at Junior Wimbledon?
Yeah, it was at Junior Wimbledon, and I think I've told you what I thought of you at that time. I said...
Tell them though.
Yeah, everybody needs to know. Nobody would have thought that me and Mahesh would become as close as we were, because he's extremely introverted, whoever knows him, and he doesn't say more than which is why this conversation is the most difficult thing to do right now. And I thought of him, and I looked at him, and he was so difficult to approach, especially for a 14-year-old. And I thought, this guy is the most arrogant person I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, how many years later now? 16, 17 years later, he's one of the closest people to me. So I understand the hms and the has a lot better.
So you've had an amazing story. Obviously made India proud at so many levels. And I think I remember watching you play that Junior Wimbledon doubles final. I think you were 16 and your partner was 15. Yeah,
she was actually 13. It was Klebanova. 13, yeah, she was 13 and I was going on 16. It was 2003. Yeah. Didn't you guys win it that year? No, it was...
No, I was just stayed back to watch you guys play.
Okay.
No, but obviously the whole tennis circuit in India was a buzz with this girl from Hyderabad who could hit the forehand at 150 miles an hour, and I think that was the first time I saw you play under pressure, and yeah, I think the rest is history.
Yeah, and I think your girls doubles is something that is so different to you kind of are just trying to do whatever you can to, it's not really how doubles is played, but I think that's one thing that I felt at that moment, that pressure was something that I enjoyed. And I think that we all do at some level, and I've seen you guys. I mean, you guys were, when you and Leander were there, you were the people we looked up to. Since you're a different generation, which has been told to us time and again before this interview started, there were two different generations. But no, and yeah, we learned a lot of doubles from you guys, watching you guys play as well. Is this supposed to be a praising each other kind of conversation?
Ideally, because I don't get praised a lot in the media. Okay. So, let's not talk too much about your tennis, because I think everyone listening already knows all the results that you've achieved. But why don't you give us a little background into, building of a Sania Mirza? I mean, I don't think people get to understand how hard it is to do what we do. I think the sacrifices, the pain, the hours put in by our parents, our siblings, and obviously, to the rest of the world, it's a great life, traveling and living in the best hotels, and it'll be good to give them some perspective of how hard it has been.
I think as tennis players, people think that it's so individual, and it's just on the player. It's not when we're performing for that 2 hours on the court. It's probably the easier part of what we are doing all throughout our lives, and the real hard work goes in when you have to wake up in the morning at 6, go to school, do your homework, go to practice, come back, eat lunch in the car, which I've done, you've done, we've all done, and then go for training again. And by 8 o'clock you're dead, and you have no time for anything else, and it's not normal. But I think those sacrifices, we can all say that, and I think every athlete, whether they make it or they don't make it, I think they feel very proud of those sacrifices that they make, because it's towards a cause that they really believe in and they love. And yeah, and I think that, I mean, I've heard stories of you and your dad, how you guys used to work hard, and whether it was in Muscat or whether you came back, and I think all our families deserve so much credit for what they've gone through, and for the sacrifices they've made, because they've not had a normal life because of us too. So
so talking about couple of defining moments in your career, right? Going by what I remember, I would say there are probably 3 matches. One was in the Australian Open when you got the wild card and you made the 3rd round to play Serena. Was it Serena or Venus?
Serena.
The second was probably when you beat Kuznetsova in Dubai. And then that year you had that amazing run in the summer in the US as well.
Yeah.
And probably us reaching our first Grand Slam final. I don't remember who we lost to.
We lost. Remember, I was injured.
Yeah.
I got really badly hurt, and then
Who did we lose to?
I was crying. Zimonich and the Chinese
Oh,
girl.
that's a bad loss.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to a large extent, you're right. I mean, yeah, those three are. But I think it's so difficult in such a long career to say that those three are those defining moments. You know, it's very difficult to, I mean, to pick, because I think, for me, I think also winning the junior Wimbledon girls doubles was very defining in many ways, because that really made me believe that I could compete at the highest level with the best, and those are the girls that were going to go on to become big champions, you know. But yeah, I mean, that match against Kuznetsova, I mean, I felt like I was possessed, and you know, after that, it made me believe that I can beat anyone and everyone out there. She was number 4 in the world at the time. But I think that, you know, I'm sure if I ask you the same question, I mean, it's difficult to come up with 3 moments when we have careers that long. Let me ask you that question. What do you think?
I think for us was winning the first Chennai Open in '97. I mean, when you win your first title, I think you believe that you can win. And, you know, that year we ended up winning another 5 and made the finals of the Masters. So things continued.
Yeah, but I mean, the same way, it was like winning that Hyderabad Open. You know, that was one of
the same year?
It was the same year. It was the same year, 2005. So, you know, there's so many moments that we can look back and say that's the one that, you know, got us forward, or that's why we're here. But in all honesty, there's so many little moments that make us come here. So, yeah, it's been, but for me, I think I have to tell you that the most heartbreaking loss was that one at the first time that we reached the final at Australian Open, because it was 2009, right? Or 2008 maybe, yeah. And it was my first slam and final, and it was with Mahesh, and it was special for many reasons. And I got hurt 2 days before. I got hurt in the semis maybe, and I was really badly hurt. I had a really bad adductor tear.
You always played hurt though.
Yeah, and then we won.
Next year in the final also you were
and I never thought, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen at that moment. You don't know if you're ever going to be in a Grand Slam final again. So it was one of the most difficult moments for me to come off with that loss, and but I still tried. And I remember you telling me we don't need to play, we can go, you know, we can just retire. But I didn't want to do that. And yeah, and then we came back next year actually and won it straight away. So yeah, that was to me, that was a defining moment too.
Tell us about the injuries. I know it's been very hard. I've had 2 surgeries myself, and you know, as hard as it is being a professional tennis player to constantly come back from injury and try and get to play the highest level again, I mean, that's just a whole new ball game, and you've done it 3 times.
Yeah, I think 3 times from surgery, yes. But I think I've been very unlucky with my body, but I've also put my body through a lot, obviously, because I did play singles, doubles, and mixed, and I started pretty young, and you know, I played for a long time. So I think coming back from injury, and I don't know how many athletes will agree with me, but for me, coming back from injury was mentally a lot tougher than physically. I mean, I was able to recover, I was able to put in those hours, but I feel that mentally, to actually trust that body part again, to trust yourself, to trust your body, to trust the fact that you're going to get as good as you were before you got hurt, I think that was the more difficult part for me, to come back and actually believe in myself again. And yeah, it's been a tough ride with injuries, but you know, I had to make that call from going from singles to doubles a few years ago because of injuries. And I mean, of course, today I can tell you it was the right call to make. But yeah, you've had a shoulder and back. Oh yeah, you had a back injury. Back's tough though, like
yeah.
back.
That's why I'm retired.
Are you though?
I think so.
Because I haven't seen.
I'm struggling to let it go,
yeah,
but I haven't picked up a racket since June.
I don't think you've retired yet. That's why I just asked you if you're playing in Australia
mentally
again.
I haven't. Physically, the body says yes. Thanks. Maybe someday someone can make a film on your life. That's realistic.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been an amazing story.
Yeah, there are actually, I mean, there are a few people that I am talking to. You know, there's nothing concrete right now, but that is something, you know, I am quite a private person just like you, and it's difficult for us to come out, even though I did come out with that autobiography, and
which I haven't got to yet. We'll discuss that later.
Yeah. But no, it is difficult for me to put every single thing out about my life. It's just, it is not a comfortable situation for me. But no, it would be nice, it would be amazing to tell my story, at least the struggles that we've been through, and maybe inspire some more girls to pick up more tennis rackets. I mean, that would be amazing to see, right? Like, I'm sure you...
Or sport in general, why only tennis?
Yeah.
I think after you, then Saina, and then PV, and there's so many women who are excelling in sport now.
I mean, yeah, whatever, any sport, because I don't think but I'm sure you see the change from when you started to, at that time I guess it was Nirupama who used to, be around and you see the change in terms of the amount of girls that do play sport today, just in general.
They do dream.
Yeah, and I think that it's important for us, all of us, to keep saying it again and again. I try and do it as much as I can, that it's not about the fame or the money or it's not about the success level. It's just about actually going out there and doing what you love doing. And if that means that as a girl you want to become a tennis player or a boxer or a badminton player, you should be allowed to do that, or you should do it. There should not be restrictions. I mean, I can speak as girls, for women and for girls. But I'm sure you see a change from your generation to even now. I mean, 20-25 years later, there's a lot more girls, right, that are good at many things other than cooking, which I don't know how to do.
Thank God for the women, otherwise you would have come back fairly empty-handed from the Olympics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so do you want to talk about the IPTL? Do you want to talk about...
I'm still interested in your movie aspirations.
Oh, more. No, that's not happening. Okay. That's not. Do you have any movie aspirations? I mean, you're married to a movie star, so... No?
A lot of people have asked me to divulge the rights to maybe make the Indian Express. But that would be too controversial for anyone's liking, so...
I think, yeah, it'll be a bestseller, whatever, biggest hit, I think. I don't know how many people know, but Mahesh loves Bollywood. Like, loves means he's obsessed with Bollywood from the time Bollywood was not cool. Like, he's like the real fan of Bollywood since I don't know how many years. Like, and
well, we used to live in the Middle East. My parents lived there. So the only entertainment was Bollywood. To my defense, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, but I mean, I love Bollywood too, and I love Bollywood. He loves it so much he married Bollywood. But no, he's loved all the songs. I mean, literally, I think if you play Antakshari with him, nobody has a chance.
Yeah,
right?
That's probably true.
Yeah, nobody has a chance. What made you start the IPTL? But that's a serious question. I really want to know what made you. What did you think?
I've obviously been into doing tennis events for a long time. We did the WTA in Hyderabad, then Kolkata, then we did the ATP event in Mumbai. So I think when I went to watch my first IPL match in Delhi, I think 5 years ago, I was just amazed with the whole atmosphere. Not really the quality of the cricket, but just the way the fans were into it, the format, it was quick, the cheerleaders, the music, and I just said, what if we can construct something like this into tennis? Obviously very challenging because tennis is such an individual sport, so creating a team atmosphere and an event out of it was tough. And at that time I was on tour, so I had the captive audience of the players in the locker room. So I spoke to a couple of the top guys who are all football fans. They all, every tennis player, at least in the men's locker room, follows a football team. So they said, it sounds unbelievable, but if it happens, they'd be happy to play. And obviously, when you start off something, it's very important to get the names to support it. And once we were able to do that, we were able to get off the ground. So I'm glad we did, because I think there's a lot of positivity around it and the concept, and hopefully we can continue along those lines.
No, it is. I mean, I can tell you that as a player, because we play such an individual sport, it's amazing to play, because I think deep inside we all want to play for a team. Yeah. At some level, at any sport, and this is giving us that opportunity to be a part of the team, getting to know people. And also I think that I've been on tour for many years, you've been on tour, but I felt like we got to know other players in very different light.
Yeah.
that you would generally. I mean, tennis is so individual. We're all with our own teams, with our own couple of friends, and that's about it. And here you all together, fighting together, and I think it was an incredible concept, and I was just curious to know how you came up with it. And it's been an honor to be a part of it, I have to tell you.
Thanks.
Oh, how much praise I'm giving him.
He's going to charge me for it.
Yeah, he told me to say this before in the break.
No, I think you and K Nishikori are in a unique position, right? I mean, you guys can spearhead your home country teams, you with the Indian Aces and K with the Japan Warriors. Obviously, we thought we'd do it in Asia because Asia is a growing market for tennis. But the dream scenario is to have local talent spearheading every team so that, it creates that kind of general buzz in the country. But yeah, I mean, it's going to take time. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, so we'll keep plugging. Yeah,
most definitely. And I think that I know that people enjoy watching the concept. I mean, my family, friends who come. But more than that, and I think it's just making people aware, to have such incredible tennis players. I think, India, I always say this and I get in trouble for it, but I keep saying it again that, we like to believe we're a sporting nation, but we're not. We're a cricketing nation. And yeah, sure, we've got amazing champions, but they're all, they're too sporadic, exactly. So I think the problem is to try and at least have people come out and watch live incredible tennis players play. Yeah. And you've been able to do that obviously in the last few years, and I think that has helped tennis grow, and that's what we're all trying to do, aren't we? Like try to have more champions. And the question we're asked, let me ask you.
Oh God.
Let me ask you this question. Who's next?
I've been asked this question for 20 years, by the way. But I don't have a crystal ball. 15 years ago when I said who next, I said Sania Mirza.
So you're basically saying you were right.
Yeah, most of the time I am.
Oh God.
Then after that Rohan came along. See, unfortunately we don't have a system in our country when it comes to tennis. I think all of us individually are trying our best. You have your academy, Rohan has his, Leander has his, I have mine. And we're trying to do it ad hoc. I think, once the system is in place, it'll be a lot easier. But I think we're heading in the right direction, but not as fast as we should.
Yeah, but do you think that we can do something more besides having academies? I mean, we'd all love to, right? Nobody wants to see tennis go back to where it was 20 years ago. We want it to just move forward. So what else can we do? What do you think that we can do to...
I think we can. I think one of us or two, even a bunch of us, if we just find a couple of corporates to support an advanced academy, right? I think we all know what it takes, what we've been through to make it to where we have. So, bringing in, people complain that there's no infrastructure in India, which I refuse to believe, because for tennis you need a gym, you need a track, and you need a tennis court, and that we have in every city in India. So,
and God knows we didn't come up with all those things, and absolutely. We still did. So,
bringing in the expertise is not hard, it's just costly. So, if we get a couple of corporates behind us and, have a program, I think we will definitely continue to churn out players day in and day out.
Yeah, and I think that we're all hoping for that, and we'd love. I think Mahesh is obviously almost retired, not yet, but almost.
I can say it today, officially retired.
Officially, no, don't say it. Let's keep it. Japan, Tokyo. Does that sound like yeah? No, but I think that I'm not going to play forever. No, nobody's going to play forever, and it would be a pity to see not to have people playing at this level before we're done. Yeah. So we hope for the best.
I think the Grand Slams are the 4 biggest events covered in India, and obviously from an Indian perspective, we always want to see someone in the main draw. 4 or 5 of us in the main draw, so we need to figure that out.
Yeah.